Steve, a pretty crazy season. Basically a 2-month delay before you started. Then you played for a month, 6 games, and now you've essentially been off for a month. I believe that your last game was on December 11th. And first of all, is the game going to happen this week? I see that UMD and Minnesota were postponed.
Yep, and then we were able to pick up an extra game against Minnesota on Thursday because of that, since they didn't have any games, and then we were the team with the bye this past weekend. The league allows us to pick up a game, so we were able to pick up one more game against the Gophers on Thursday. So as of right now, everything's trending in that direction for us to be able to play that game.
Okay, and then my initial question was, the stop-start, the delays. I mean, how tough is that to go into Minnesota, a very tough team, and you've essentially been off for a month?
Yeah, and and they've had the same amount of time as us, and so for us, anytime you're coming off of a break, it tends to be difficult just to be in game mode, if you will. We think that our team has handled that very well this past week. This is the most practice that we would have had, I think, since I've been here. After Christmas, leading into those first few games, us having a full week last week, and then us having these 3 before Thursday. I believe we're going to be well prepared. We had a great week of practice last week, and then we did a lot of game situations towards the end of the week, and we'll focus a lot of that in this week. You want to put the ladies in as much situations as possible to emulate some of those game pieces. So it's always difficult. Both teams are in the same boat. But I think our ladies handled it really well last week in terms of how they came back prepared, but even their fitness level, and as we've been seeing in the weight room, their fitness levels came back at a really good level. So we're feeling good going into the game on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach, you've had pretty much all a break and these week and a half to kind of watch and stomach film. How do you feel that that's going to prepare you for 3 games against the Gophers?
Yeah, you have time to, build off the positives from the first half. I don't know if I call it a half, right? The first section of games, and obviously some time to think about areas that we need to address. So you review those few games and you kind of go over the tape and okay, what do we need as a team to be successful as a whole? But then also going into the specific opponent this weekend, and obviously they're a talented team, but we're a talented team as well, right? So we have a lot of pieces that we believe are going to be able to, have a good role coming on this weekend, Thursday. But with the time, sometimes you can overthink it as well. Sometimes you just want to get playing, right? So you don't want to overthink it, but you would definitely want to learn and from those first bits before Christmas.
Yeah, Steve, a couple of things that stuck out to me, just looking at the statistics, the Gophers have been 100% on the penalty kill coming into this series, and your team has struggled on a power play. So obviously that's not a good combination, but is that something that you've looked at in practice over the last couple of weeks?
Yep, absolutely. So we'll continue to address it. And a lot of the times power play is getting personnel into the right positions, right into the right spots, and allowing them, giving them a few looks and allowing them to have some success, but then putting them into some situations that they're going to see on the weekend, right? So, we believe we're getting a better understanding of what those spots are for the personnel, and they're getting more comfortable in that. So we ran through it again today and felt good about it today, right? So, you learn from that and then move to tomorrow and put them in some situations tomorrow and continue to learn. But, I believe we're getting a much better feel on where those personnel need to be.
Coach, obviously in what is dubbed the end of the first half of the season, Sonia Hola was scratched for that whole series. Will she be back this weekend against the Gophers?
Yes. She's good to go.
Yeah, it was a short answer, but yeah.
Just a little to piggyback off that a little bit. Both your goaltenders are over 92%, or 92% and over. So I think that you've got to be really, extremely pleased from that standpoint, considering the goal differential this year. So I would think that you're very comfortable with either goaltender. They both split about 50% of the games.
Mhm. Yeah, again, it's we've been blessed with a good goaltender duo for a lot of our years here. Going back to Julie Friend and Katie Fitzgerald, and obviously with Janine Alder and Emma Paluzny as well, and the list goes on. But so have that goaltending. When you have Sani and Emma, who are both showing that they have that ability to be able to step up and play in those situations, and so we're comfortable with that, so we'll see how the week progresses, and we'll be having conversations with them in terms of what Thursday looks like.
Any other particular strategy against the Gophers? They have one player with 5 goals, but other than that, it looks like it's pretty balanced scoring. So I think it's probably just a matter of getting the right line matchups out there, and obviously they'll have last change, but that'll be something that you have to deal with just to shut down their top scorer.
Yeah, and that being Zumwinkle, who she can absolutely shoot it. She's also leading her team in shots for, and she has her power play goal. And so she's a high-end, she's world-class player, So a team against the Gophers, it's, you want to take away their time and space. They're a team that likes their time and space. They have a lot of speed. They have a lot of skill, a lot of individual skill as well. So it's a matter of limiting that time and space and not just backing off and giving them all that time. So, you have to be smart of when to do that, so you're not caught out of position. But we're really confident in the pieces that we have, and really believe that our players are committing to certain of those habits that are going to help us be successful. So, they're going to have the puck. It's they like having the puck, and they have a lot of individual skills. So they're going to have it. It's just a matter of us limiting that time when they have it, and then looking to counter, because often teams that play like that and that have that skill, the time to counterattack is on that immediate turnovers when they're most disorganized. So we'll be looking at that, and like I said, we believe we have a lot of pieces that they're going to have to watch out for as well.
The last question I had was they haven't seen Emma Gentry, and she has 2 goals in 3 games, and so that might be a little bit of a surprise for them contending with her.
Yeah, there's a few of them will know what she's capable of, and it's different to be when you're standing on the other bench. But obviously, she's showing that she's going to be a difference maker, and that she has that potential, and she's a competitor. In the end, that's one of her biggest strengths is how much of a competitor she is. So, she's a player that can definitely rise to that occasion and be supported by the some of the upperclassmen as well. So we'll play around with our line combinations leading into Thursday, but we believe we're on to some good lineups and good 4 lines that we believe can have some chemistry.
All right, if that's it from Nick and Bill, we did have a few questions from the mailbag as well, from folks who couldn't attend today. So Steve, kind of piggybacking off of Bill's question about Emma Gentry, she won WCHA Newcomer of the Week in that last week of the season for St. Cloud State. That second line in particular that she was on, along with Savar and Lind, was very successful against the Beavers. Gentry alone was +4 in that series. What did you like from that group playing together against Bemidji?
Their compete level. They're all 3 players that play a very hard and very physical and very much in your face game. And all 3 of them are not afraid of the physical portion of the game, but it's just their compete and their will for puck possession, but their will to get it back when they lose it, and that's a really big piece that line carried. And all those 3 players, they, no matter where they play, that's something that each of them bring. So that's their compete level really sets those 3 apart in a lot of individual aspects of the game, but then also as a unit. So that's one thing that really stood out with those 3.
Steve, Yanina Newland has scored in each of her last 3 games to close out the, I guess the first half is what the WCHA has been calling it. So that's what we'll call it too. So a goal in each of her last 3 games. For one, is there anything that you've really seen her make a stride in here entering her junior campaign? And for 2, do you think she's going to carry that on against the Gophers here this weekend?
Yeah, we have the confidence that she will. Absolutely. She's a player that's really taken a step. She's committed to her fitness level, which was good before. It's even better now. But it's also her mindset on the ice. It's a shooting mindset and very attacking mindset. And she's in a great place. And we're definitely confident that she can continue that against, doesn't matter who we're playing.
And then one last question for you, Steve. looking at the Gophers, of course, Lauren Bench has been really, really good in net. You just played her former team, Bemidji State. I'm curious if you've noticed any differences in her game beyond moving from a program to program. Has she taken any strides that you didn't necessarily see out of her in her first few collegiate years against St. Cloud State?
She's been good her whole career. You know, like you said already, she's been a very solid, consistent netminder. So don't think I've seen anything different with that. It's just experience, you know, and her moving through that, and her having, I guess this would be her 5th year, you know, so if I go back to her first year, but so it's just that experience, and as a goaltender, have that that confidence in what you can do, and then obviously being able to step into a program like the Gophers doesn't hurt as well. And she's successful with Bemidji, and she'll continue to be successful with the Gophers. Hopefully not this weekend, but yeah, no, it's again, I think it's just that experience and poise that you get by being a veteran player in the league.
Yeah, this is a question for either Laura or Emma. You started the season 2 months with a 2-month delay, then you played for a month, played 6 games, and then you've been off for a month. Now you're heading into a pretty tough series with the University of Minnesota. I mean, what kind of a frame of mind are you in with the stop, the start, the delays, and going into a big series like this? Either one, you can take that question.
I can go ahead. I think in general, we're just like really happy to play, and it doesn't really matter how many games we get. We're just going to take each game and be happy to play it.
I've got a question for Emma. Emma, you started the season later than the team, just naturally, and then you had a really hot start when you did begin play. But then Christmas break kind of forced you to cool off. You feel ready against the Gophers this weekend?
Yeah, definitely this week is going to be super important for me as far as like preparation. But I'll definitely be sure that I'm ready to go and piggyback off when I left off. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, Laura, this is a Gophers team that's outscoring their opponent by 3-1. And their goaltender is 96%. So, they are putting up some offense, and you've got to find that happy medium between putting up some offense and then playing good defense. So, how are you preparing for this weekend against, a team that you not only have to defend well against, but, your team has to score some goals as well?
I think just in general, we do a lot of drills that just require us to do a lot of defense stuff. So I think defense-wise, we're going to be prepared, and offense-wise, we're just try to shoot the puck as much as possible and try to get something going there.
Laura, usually you play 2-game series in a weekend, but now you've got a third against the Gophers. How much does your strategy change when approaching the whole series against the Gophers with 3 games now?
I think just like, as I said earlier, we're just going to take game by game, but preparation wise, we're going to for sure have it we're going to step a little back on Friday and just trying to recover as much as possible. And the whole week is going to focus a lot on getting the body ready for 3 games. So there's going to be recovery pieces as well as just going and be ready to play.
Emma, you're playing a team that's hasn't been scored on the power play yet. They're 100% on their penalty kill. The Huskies have been struggling on the power play. It's basically at the other end of the spectrum. I think with you injected in the picture, that should help a lot. But have you been working on something on the power play this for this upcoming series?
Yeah, we actually worked on it today at practice. I think just getting those systems down and practicing is a huge key to capitalizing on power play. So I think we'll be ready to go this weekend.
Sorry. I believe your team's been back since the 28th of December. How do you feel practices have gone since everybody's been back in St. Cloud?
It's always coming back. It's always hard to come back after a long break like that. But I think our team did really well on focusing on the small things on the ice that we can improve on. So I think practices have been going really well for us.
Yeah, and Emma, a question for you. 2 goals in 3 games, and you had a delay to the start of your season, but coming in as a first-year player, it looks like the transition is going very well for you. What are your thoughts on getting into a little higher level of play in Division I hockey?
Mm-hmm. It's been great, honestly. I think my teammates and coaches have helped me make the transition a little bit easier, but I'm always looking and learning, asking questions just to get better and excel in this division.
And then Emma, you talked about some goals that you had set out for yourself against the Gophers. What are they?
Honestly, just to keep it simple and get as many shots as I can at the goalie, and just work hard, have fun with it, keep things simple.
Yeah, Laura, one last question that I have is you have 1 assist so far this year, but in watching your game, you're aggressive, you're on the puck, you're very visible out there. But what do you think you have to do to put a little more offense into your game right now?
I think that's a pretty simple answer. I just have to shoot the puck a little more. I'll try to do that. So I hope I can create a little bit more offense and be a little bit more dangerous around the net if I shoot the puck a little bit more.
Here, we'll start with Laura. Laura, you've been on that line with Clara and Yanina for, I think, pretty much the full season, about midway through that first Minnesota State game anyway. How have you felt with those two on the ice, and especially with Yanina, 3 goals in 3 straight games? How's that chemistry been between the 3 of you?
Yeah, I think we think a lot alike, and that helps us definitely on the ice. And that's been working so far, so we'll see.
Emma, you picked up WCHA Rookie of the Week honors after your performance against Bemidji State, a goal in each game. I think you had 3 points total between those 2 games. You're playing on that line with Taylor Lind and Olivia Savar. You had quite a bit of ice time, and you were a +4 in that series against Bemidji State. How did you feel about your work with those 2 players out on the ice with you? What did you like about that line?
Yeah, I'm going to kind of piggyback off of what Laura said. I think Sabar and I have a similar style of play, so I think we're able to work really well together. And then Taylor Lind is always in the right place. Like we don't really have to communicate or like think about where we need to go. It kind of just all meshes together. So we'll see what happens this weekend, but it's going really well.
Keeping it with you, Emma, as I mentioned, you picked up the Rookie of the Week honors in the WCHA weekly awards, and that was really your first full week. You only played 1 game against Minnesota Duluth on the back end, so that was your first full opportunity to play a series. What did that mean to you, picking up Rookie of the Week?
Honestly, it's been a huge goal of mine. Just even playing in the WCHA has been a huge goal of mine. So to get that was an honor, and hopefully I can keep going.
Laura, you've seen a lot of the Lauren Bench playing for Bemidji State in net, and now she's with the Gophers and having a pretty darn good season to open up the year through their first 5 games that she's been in net. Have you noticed anything about her game that you might be able to exploit coming into this 3-game series against the Gophers from her time with Bemidji and taking it into now?
I think we just have to keep shooting on her, and there will be rebounds, so we just have to be there to get some goals for us going there.